I do a memory program too, and you told me that, so I should have remembered. I'm going to take my own advice. The other handouts that you'll find clipped together, the 10 quick tips one is pretty self-explanatory. It talks a lot about what we've just gone over. The exercise motivators sheet, boy, I tell you, if you get out of it for a week or so, I had a little injury that was bothering me. I'm like, I can take a week, 2 weeks off, heal up. Getting back into it is so hard, no matter how long you've been doing it. But then once you do it enough, you miss it. So I actually looked at this sheet and said, you know what? I can go through and check some things off. And I'd look at the things that might be an obstacle to me, and I was kind of laughing at myself. I'm like, that's not an obstacle, that's an excuse. So I kind of got mad at myself. The other handout that's important, the salt and sodium. I do another program called the Triple Threat, Sugar, Fat, and Sodium. And I really dive into a lot of the ideas about salt that people don't necessarily know and the negative impact it can have, but also the role that it really does play in our diets. Any of you who've ever heard of the Paleolithic diet? It's very low in sodium, very high in potassium. It's kind of the way we used to eat when we had to grow and kill whatever it was that we were going to consume. Very little sodium naturally occurring in foods. So, until we found it, keeps them fresh and tastes good. That's always good. I always say, what do these 3 things all have in common? They're all like, oh, they can affect your health, they can do that. I'm like, they just taste good. That's why they're such a problem. I love it. Sweet tooth, having a sweet tooth. I never had one, but when I was a trainer this time of year, I'm just remembering clients would bring in brownies, fudge, cookies, sit them out there. I didn't want them. I'd get hungry, take a little cookie. A little while later, oh, I'm not going to have lunch. I'll have another cookie. Next thing you know, you're looking for it. It's addicting. And it becomes a habit. If it's there, you just go back for more. The other one, the perceived exertion chart, when I was talking about exercising and walking and making sure that your heart rate is where it is. For some people, getting your heart rate into that training zone that the mathematical formula tells you it should be might not be appropriate for you. And your doctor might tell you that because of certain medications which might artificially reduce your heart rate or artificially increase it. But the perceived rate of exertion is a really good measure because you know when you're working and when you're not and when you can do a little bit more. So I like to keep that in there. And then the last one, the food label. They're changing the food label again. They're putting more emphasis on, as opposed to showing calories and calories from fat, they're trying to highlight more the kinds of fat, because they don't want people to go phobic about fat again. But they want to make sure that it's not so much how much fat, but the kind of fat that you're getting. But personally, I really do like to see how many calories from fat. And if you've ever checked a food label for example, 90% lean ground beef, and you'll think, hey, it's 90% lean. If a 200 calorie serving, only 20 calories of it should be from fat. When in fact, it's about half fat by calories. Because it's not by calories, it's by weight. And fat is more than twice as dense. So it can be very misleading. So when you read your labels, and that's a good thing to have this little handout too, make sure you check, do the math, and see what percentage of fat each portion is. And anybody know what the most important thing, I'll be a quiz and see how good your group is. What's the most important thing to look at on a food label?
Sugar.
Salt.
Salt.
The number of servings.
Serving size, right. Because everything else, regardless, if something looks good, oh, it's only 100 calories a serving. And the serving is a half a teaspoon. And you're going to have a bowl. You're going to have a lot more. So serving size, first and foremost. But that's a topic for another presentation.
When is the label changing?
I would look for it in early 2016. If not already, I haven't gone onto the website in a while.
When's
When's-
the nutrition labels change?
They've been making subtle changes.
They've been
And
changing right away.
yeah,
There's already stuff.
it's always nothing sweeping, but.
Well, let's give a huge round of applause before the students.